I got the one wing on, which was the side that fitted okay. I still had issues. It doesn't want to, even though I got the fit underneath right, it doesn't want to stay in that slot so the two V's meeting each other. So what I did was, awkwardly, so I held it in. I glued this section first, let it set, then I used a rubber band, wrapped it around, even though it's hard because it's a triangle. Tried to pull that wing into the fuselage, and because the rubber band wants to slip forward, I used pegs, so the rubber band was behind the peg so I couldn't slide off, and just let it set. It's I don't like how it's engineered. Anyway, it's how it is. So that side's in. There is a bit of a gap at the front which will need a touch of filler. While that's set, I don't want to put the other one out and on yet and start trying to pull that side till that's really, the glue's gone off and I can't budge it. So I was starting with these drop tanks. So you got the male female pin, but unfortunately they don't, when you click them in, you can see there's a step, so they don't line up. So I'm going to cut the pins off, just make it easier, that way I can get them level. So it's just becoming rather apparent to me now that this is just a limited run style kit, even though it's pretty newly tooled and it's got nice details. There's still, you know, fit issues, the flash, it's, yeah. But anyway, onwards and upwards. I've started to put this wing on. I'm going to do it in stages. I've made a mess under here. I've created a gap that I'll have to fill. What I did was I sanded a little bit off the lower wing, but then I got a so the recess where the upper wing fits in, I got the chisel in there on the right angle and scraped it out that way instead of taking the lower wing away, the detail. But yeah, I got a bit off there somewhere, so it needs putty, and then it's gonna have to be the same as I did the other side. I'm gonna have to push it in and clamp it with the rubber band again until it sets. This is the best that I can come up with. I'm not saying it's the only way, but that's just what I've come up with. It's just not, for me, it's not engineered well and it doesn't fit well. Anyway, tail, I'm just cleaning up. I got to prime it and check. I'll have to fill in here, I think. There's some gaps, but again, the tail has got a big gap. So it looked like when it was molded, the underside here, the mating surface, it seemed like it was domed. So I've scraped flat along here on all the mating surfaces, trying to get it to sit better. It's somewhat better, but still not brilliant. Time I glue it and push it down, it might be a little bit better, but I'll try and get it a bit better than that. But yeah. Oh, I got the wing on finally. You can see what I ended up doing. I got sick of trying to work out how to fit it, so I pushed out that from the inside again with a piece of plastic card, and then you can see how big that gap is to get the wing to fit. So I'll fill that in. You know, won't see that anyway. Put the nose on. Doesn't, as per dry fit, doesn't fit great. So top, the front end is a bit higher than the back to the fuselage, and this piece, the hump that goes on the spine there, doesn't fit yet, so I'll have to give it a bit of a sand, and then I might probably have to clean that up to get it come down. That gap I mentioned previously there, I just put a piece of plastic card in there, and I glued it yesterday, so I'll still need to fill it, but it'll just save a bit of time. I'll sand it back and fill it, because the gap was, so you can see I've put that's 0.01 piece of plastic card, and there's still a bit of a gap. That just helps a little bit, and then so I need a bit of putty there, so I'll use perfect plastic putty, that one tiny bit. Clean these up, trying to work out, I'm going to clean up the inside ones and clean up that seam bit there, there obviously, there, and that bit. I've cleaned up the back, and I've put on that hump underneath the belly. I needed a touch of filler around here when the engine pushes in, so slowly getting there. Oh yeah, and the tail is on, but it'll need some, again, a bit of perfect plastic putty in there. It's not I got it a better fit, but I didn't get it perfect. It's, yeah, really frustrating kit, this one. This spine piece, you can see I need a bit of putty on the side. Yeah, pretty bad fit. What I did was the actual piece, so say that was the piece, I thinned it out, so thinned it, sanded it on the inside to get it a better fit, but as you can see, it wasn't a perfect fit, and I had to sand the ends of it because it was a bit long. I'm still cleaning up a few seam joins. The bottom is just about done, so I've filled that. That's rescribed. That's my second go with some CA glue. It's ready to prime. I've cleaned up the nose. I just need to rescribe some panel lines and some rivets. I've sanded here, but I've got to give it a shot of primer just to see how that looks, and then I'll rescribe there. What else? So I've put some putty in the tail join. For the inside of these intakes, it's hard to see in there, but you can see in there, and hopefully, if I'm happy with the final result, this will be for next year's competition, so I need to make an effort to clean that up. It'll get pinged by the judges. What I did, I was trying to work out how I'm going to get something in there. I got a piece of thin copper, aluminium can, like a drinking can will work too. Just cut it thin and put bend it. There's a bit of sandpaper on it, and then I just came in to get it like that. It's very awkward, but like I said, I have to try and clean that up. So I'll clean up, so I'm getting there with all that. I need to put this on, the combing for the instrument panel. I did a dry fit, and it looks like it fits all right. Maybe. So there's a little step slot on each side of the fuselage that the feet of this sit into, and it does fit. So I just need to, I have to paint underneath it black and then put it on. And then I can start. I'll put on the control surfaces as well. I'll just wait until I finished sanding these seam joins up. So it's the worst. The worst is almost over, and hopefully it'll start being more fun. Alrighty, I've cleaned up all my seams inside those intakes, so I've got to paint them in again. I've got to paint in the gear bay. So I've put on the elevons, they call them here. I don't know if that's right or not. So it doesn't look right from the top, but underneath they're sitting flush, so that must be how they sit. Well, if not, too bad, that's how it's staying. So I've got them drooped just for interest of the display of the model, but you got different ones here. So if you want it neutral, you got different numbers for neutral, and you've also got, I'm putting the sidewinders on mine, so there's two different actuators for that. There's a long one, which is what I've used, because there's a pylon for the sidewinder sits on that actuator, but if you're not doing the sidewinder, you can use the other one. On the real aircraft, I don't know how that works. I doubt that they changed that, but anyway. So it's ready to, there's still a whole heap of little air scoops, and I'll put the wing lights on and little parts to go on before I start painting. So I'm doing you see I've put that instrument combing on and I've sanded a bit back. The windscreen doesn't want to sit flush. It will if I give it a bit of force. You be careful with clear parts. So I've got to try and work that out. So you got two options as well. If you just want it closed up, they give you a one-piece windscreen canopy, whereas this one's got the separate. I was just for amusement, I was seeing if it fits. The one-piece one doesn't really fit either. You see it's a bit of a gap on that side. I think it could be a thickness thing again as well. So if it was going to be a really great fit, I was just going to put the one piece in, paint it, and at the end I was going to come back and put this in, but not if it's going to cause issues like that. I'll be scratching paint and making a mess, so best to just work it out now and glue it on. Yeah, again, flash, these had flash. Yeah, but nearing that stage of primer. Alright, so I've got the scoops on, that little piece there, the guns. All these little parts are hard to clean up because they're so small. So be careful they don't go pinging off when you're trying to trim them up. So I have changed my mind again. I'm going to use the single piece canopy. I got it a little bit better fit. It's not perfect, but it doesn't matter. I'll paint it. And then later on I'll come back and do it the other way, because I cleaned up. I sanded off some of the raised detail on this, and the windscreen section fitted properly. I've put in the HUD, which is supplied as a acetate. You just got to cut it out. It's stamped, but it's not, you can't pull it out, you got to cut it. Excuse me. There is a mask sheet. I might see how it fits Well, it should fit, but honestly, vinyl can be a bit funny sometimes when it's masking. So I've painted in the intakes again, and the wheel bay and the engine, so I need to mask them off before I start priming. And I'm still cleaning up the joins on these drop tanks, and I've got to do this thing yet, clean up the joins and put the fins on it. But otherwise it's almost ready for paint. There are several photo etch bits, but I'll put them on at the end because you got little, if they're antenna or whatever their purpose is, but they're very small. Some are like real tiny. Those two are going to sit on top of the nose. I don't even know where those other ones are. There's mirrors for the canopy. Yeah, I'm not sure about those other little ones. Anyway, we'll have another look-see when I'm onto that part of it.